What will you do to protect yourself from snake bite? Snake boots will protect you whether you're hunting, working, or just casually hiking outdoors. Now, if you work in a rattlesnake roundup or in snake pits, maybe this video is not for you, but I think most of you will find it useful. When it comes to snake-proof boots or snake boots, they come in a variety of prices and sizes. These right here are the lacrosse boots from Amazon. They are listed as an Amazon choice for snake bite proof boots or snake boots. They come in at $161. But our regular rubber boots also an option. These right here are the Dunlops from Amazon as well. They cost about $16. And I believe they will probably give you adequate protection compared to these boots. If you're interested in any of the boots that you see in the video, I'll have them down in the description of the video below. So take a look and you can check out the links. To understand why boots work, you have to understand the snakes. And I'm talking specifically pit vipers. To understand about these pit vipers, you have to understand how their bite mechanism works, and you also have to understand a little bit about snake boot technology and why it gives it the protection that it does. When we talk about snakes in the United States, we're really only concerned with the big three, and those are the pit vipers. I don't really count the coral snakes in there because they're going to have a tough time biting anyone unless you're actually actively handling it or stepping on it barefooted or something like that. They're usually pretty reluctant to bite unless they're meddled with. So we won't really talk about coral snakes. So when we talk about the pit vipers, we're talking specifically about copperheads, cottonmouths, and rattlesnakes. And they're called pit vipers because on the side of their face they actually have a pit or a small hole, and that is sensitive to heat. And that's very important for two reasons. First of all, it helps them zero in or hone in on their usually warm-blooded prey, small mammals like rats and mice, squirrels, rabbits, things like that. And it also helps them hone in on their major predators. And most of the time those predators are mammals as well, which are warm-blooded of course, and also birds are warm-blooded. So we're talking about the raptors, the hawks, the owls, and things like that. This is a thermal camera and it goes into a phone, and I'm using my phones to record this video, so I will show you how it works. Basically what we're going to do is we're going to take a look at, these are my feet right here. As you can see, this is my leg without any shoes on. This is kind of what snakes sense. You can see the heat emanating from my leg right there. Now let me put some running shoes on, and this is my foot and leg with some running shoes, and you can see where the difference is. But let me put these rubber boots on. And you can see how much of this heat is blocked by these rubber boots, and this is very important. Remember that snakes are also active at night, so they have no problem kind of seeing these thermal images even in the dark. Take a look. You see, these rubber boots actually block the heat signature from your feet and your legs from the snakes. And when the snakes can't see this, it's very confusing to them, so they're less likely to strike. Snakes have a limited supply of venom, and they really want to save it for a real threat or even a prey item. They don't want to waste their venom. The heat blocking trait of these rubber boots alone make them a very important feature of preventing and deterring snake bite. When snakes bite, they're very specific about it. What they do is they will strike, inject venom, and immediately retreat. And the reason they do that is because when they retreat, they wait for the venom to work so they're not injured trying to hold on to their prey as it thrashes around. So this is a way for the snake to protect themselves. When the animal dies, they will crawl over and, eat it. And it's important to know that, because when these snakes bite shoes or boots or anything like that, they really don't latch onto it and try to chew through it to get to your flesh. They don't have that mentality. It's bite, release, retreat. And that's very important to know, because these snakes just don't have the power to penetrate through rubber boots. It's very, very unlikely for them to hit a glancing blow and get through a boot. These boots right here, the Dunlaps, they're made as work boots. So they're designed to prevent penetration by sharp objects. That's how they're designed. I found one instance on the internet of a snake biting through a rubber boot, which looked like a rubber boot. I couldn't really tell what it was. But it actually looked like it bit through some of the material at the top of the boot, not really through the rubber part itself. This is a 16-inch boot right here. It would take a large snake to bite someone up above this boot. And that's important to think about as well. Small snakes are difficult to see. It's easier to step on them, but they also have trouble penetrating the boots. Now the larger snakes are much larger. They're much easier to see. You can take a look at them, a big snake is fat and it's coiled up, and most of the time those bigger snakes are going to be rattlesnakes. And these rattlesnakes are going to quite often rattle and tell you to get the hell away from me. I found one video on the internet of a snake biting into a rubber boot or at a rubber boot. It was a cottonmouth down in Louisiana, and it could not penetrate the boot. But down in the description, I am going to link that video so you can take a look at it. Now, in other countries around the world, they don't use expensive snake boots. They use rubber boots. We spend a lot of time down in Central America, in Costa Rica, and down there in Costa Rica, that country has about 700 snake bites a year from mostly fer-de-lance snakes. We call them terciopelos, but there's also bushmaster snakes down there and some of the smaller ground vipers and tree vipers. But their go-to boot down there, cheap rubber boots. Any hardware store, you can get them for about equivalent of $15. They work really, really well down there. My wife was in the Peace Corps in Africa back in the early 90s. She said everybody there used inexpensive rubber boots. And trust me, if it didn't work, they would not continue to use cheap rubber boots. So it's one of the most effective protections against snake bite that's used around the world. Earlier this year in Maryland, they did a study where they found 69 wild copperheads out in the forest. And their goal was to see how likely they were to bite a boot when it got close to it, or when it was the snake was even stepped on. So they made a device where they could actually step on the copperheads without any weight to see if the snakes would bite the boots. And it was amazing that only 2 out of 69 wild copperheads actually struck at the boots. And I will link that study in the description down below. So in conclusion, you can spend, up to $300–400 on snake boots, or you can buy the $20 rubber boots and probably get just the same protection. But the most important thing to remember is you want to feel confident in what you have on your feet. You don't want to have to worry about that. Trust me, I've walked in the woods enough with poor foot protection in bad places that I know how that worry can be. If it's not snakes, it's things like ants or briars scratching up your legs, and you want to avoid that. But whatever decision you make, you want to keep in mind your goal of being able to enjoy the outdoors and not have to worry about snake bites. Thanks for watching. See you soon.